Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is Monday. It is a military Monday here on Pickup Lines, presented by Gamez Law Firm and Integrity Roofing and Siding. It's something I came up with. I've said I want to do more stuff with the military, and Monday, and I love alliteration, so Military Monday seems like a logical fit. And I can think of no better person to start off with than a man who checks so many boxes. And you're probably the first guest I've ever had that had a crown. Actually, I had Miss Fiesta in here one time.
So there you go.
So the first male, let's put it that way. But a man who probably at this point needs no introduction, but I'm going to do it anyway. He is Rey Feo 75, John McFadden, who is here on his birthday, no less.
It is not my birthday. It is my anniversary.
The anniversary of the day that
It is my 32nd anniversary of my 31st birthday, which puts me solid in my 30s.
I mean, nobody told me there would be math involved. But
just say I'm in my 30s.
You're in your 30s. Very good. Well, happy birthday. Do you have big plans today?
I don't have big plans, but I couldn't think of anything I would rather do than hang out with Ernie Zuniga on my birthday.
Just like it said on the teleprompter there. Well, let's put it this way. You've just come down from 11, 12 days of epic partying with Fiesta.
Yeah.
So anything you do today, I mean, it's kind of not fair almost. I mean.
Well, let's see. We were talking about this earlier. The whole court, it's amazing how much in love everybody on the court fell.
Yes,
and
true.
And ever since then, our group chat just keeps going. It keeps going. It keeps going. They're like, everyone's having withdrawals, and they want to get together, and they want to do stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, so this was our calendar during Fiesta.
Like a week ago, essentially. Or maybe like 10 days ago.
Yeah, or less. And this is my calendar today. So I should have put meeting with Ernie on
there. Yeah, I
there.
don't see that in there, but that's okay. I'll give you a pass. So I was thinking back 1 week ago, and I'll talk about your military career and everything in just a little bit, but I want to start with kind of the more recent. A week ago at this time, I guess we had left the hotel. You were back home?
Yeah,
it was a Monday, because Fiesta ended Sunday. We had a dinner Sunday night. And again, for those of you who may not be aware, and I apologize for assuming this, but I was on the court serving with John and our fellow ministers for the last year plus. And so we had a kind of a closing dinner Sunday night, which I really, really liked. I thought that was nice. Really cool. And then Monday we all woke up and tried to clean up the hotel and pack everything up and then go back to our respective lives.
Yep. And by this time on Monday, everything was unpacked and done, and
right.
We were twiddling our thumbs going, what do we do now?
And so you sleep with your crown now and everything? Is that?
No, actually, this is the first time I've put it on since, and it hurts my neck. So wait a second. You said I got the wrong memo. You said that it's Military Monday.
Oh yes. Yes.
So I screwed up.
Well, that's okay. I mean, it can be Fiesta Royalty Monday.
No, I have the wrong crown.
Oh.
So, there we go. There we go.
I should be playing the Top Gun. Na, 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 na.
You were below the hard deck.
Thank you. Yes. Johnny Mac, by the way. You were not Maverick, but before there was Maverick, there was Johnny Mac.
Yeah, which and it ends better for Johnny Mac than it does Goose.
That is. Oh, yes. Yeah, exactly. You flew. Was it F?
T-37s, T-38s, AT-38s, A-10s.
I just told the kids at the school visit, so they were very fast jets. The ones that you see way, way up in the sky that leave the little contrails and stuff like that. That was you once upon a time.
And not that I'm going to take this off because I can't hear you.
Yeah, go ahead. So, you can take it off.
Thank you. So, the king is hard of hearing.
He's a year older now.
So, yeah, Scott Christie, King Antonio, and I got to go up in a BFM sortie with the 435th out at Randolph.
Like recently,
yeah. In February, AT-38s, and got up and did some air-to-air and some two-ship low-level.
You flew the plane, or you rode in the plane?
A little of both.
Okay.
Since I retired out of the Air Force flying that airplane, so I kind of remember.
It's like riding a bicycle.
It can be.
Okay. And to be clear, you also fly for a major airline.
A major airline. Yes, I do.
Right.
787.
So soon you'll be going back, circumnavigating the globe once again, doing all that.
Yes, I will be, and so happy.
I can see that.
Well, I'm kind of used to being at home.
Yeah,
And
no
so-
kidding. I was just talking with your wife, Leslie, the royal consort, and she's busy still, I think, coming down off that Fiesta high. But we are a week out now. And I do wonder, in all seriousness, what has that experience been like for you? Your reign is not technically over, but the Fiesta experience part of it is. So how are you feeling about all of that?
Well, so the actual Fiesta itself was exactly what I thought it was going to be because of the team that we assembled.
Right.
You being a big part of it. Carrie Fristow, John Fristow. I mean, I could name every
Right.
single person on the team. Ronnie Suarez. Right now, so everything comes in stages, right?
Yeah.
The school visits. Carrie Fristow did the school visits.
114.
114, over 60,000 kids.
Yeah.
And now that we're kind of said and done, we're just wrapping up all the loose ends. Stephanie Nemec, the finance minister, and I are on the phone probably 8 times a day, trying to make sure that the I's get dotted and the T's get crossed, and we put the loose ends together. Already excited about helping Fabian Castillo, Rey Feo 76.
Yep.
He's got his first big event on Wednesday night, which we're going to, and we're going
Yeah.
to be supporting him full force, and just. But Fiesta itself, I could have gone another week because
Could you?
Allison Reyes. I mean, the way the team put everything together.
Yeah.
I mean, it was easy.
I counted, and I think we dodged a few bullets with the weather. I mean, we really lucked out with the weather, considering that first cold front. Was that on that first Sunday morning we woke up to go to the Pearls, or the Champagne and Diamonds brunch? It was chilly.
That was awesome.
You loved it.
Oh, I had my Arctic survival gear on. The cape. If I'm ever flying over the North Pole and
Yeah,
headed to
right.
somewhere, I'm going to take that cape. It's going in my luggage
I
because
don't-
if we go down, I want that cape.
It'll keep you warm for a very, very long time. But I counted 83 stops that we did in those 11 days, ish, roughly, give or take a stop or two.
Yeah, it does. Felt like more, but
Yeah. But I tell people it's like speed dating sometimes. You go to a place, you spend 20 minutes, you shake hands, have a beverage, whatever, hand out medals, and then you get the universal sign, we got to go to the next thing. And you're trying to keep, and because we had so much military on the court, yourself included, there was like a military precision to the timing, and you want to be on time and not be late and those kinds of things.
I'm glad that we had a military presence on the court and that the people were in line with it, and everyone knew from the beginning. I mean, really, we told people that if you're not on the bus
Right.
on time, we will leave you.
Right.
And we didn't really leave that many people before they figured out that that getting on the bus is easier than trying to Uber to catch up.
That is correct. That is correct. So now you mentioned, Fabian Castillo is, and I remember a year ago at this time, our court, like as soon as Larry was done on that Sunday,
Yep.
maybe Monday passed, maybe, but that Tuesday, Wednesday, we were like, it immediately started, and so. But you still have a lot to do because, as we mentioned, now it's looking at all the kiddos who applied for the scholarships,
Right.
going through all of that. And I know when August comes around and it's time to hand out those checks, I mean, that's going to be an amazing day.
That is going to be the culmination of all of our efforts for the entire team, and really with the Dos Amigos, Dos Reyes, we've been at this for 2 years.
Yeah.
And we're going to be able to see the looks on those kids' faces when we hand them those checks in August.
Biggest surprise for you, or the most unexpected thing in terms of the Rey Feo process from your perspective?
The biggest surprise. I can't really say that there were any big surprises. I mean, I'll answer that with a question.
Okay.
This is your second time on a court.
Correct.
Well, what was your biggest surprise?
My biggest surprise? Well, I mean, getting $1 million donation was pretty overwhelming. I mean, that's pretty good. that was pretty unexpected. Thank you, Kim's Angels and Yolanda and everything. But I guess to kind of peel the curtain back, you had put that number out there in the universe before the $1 million came in. I think the largest sum ever raised by a previous king was in the under $600,000 level.
Yeah, it's like
You had floated a 7-figure number in last June before we even knew about Kim's Angels and Yolanda and everything. And I don't know if you got some weird looks or some like side eye from the people when you put that out there.
We've talked about this. I mean, so 2 years ago when we were on Augie's court, and King Antonio Bart Simpson was presenting a check for Haven to Hope for $1.2 million
at the Briscoe Western Museum,
for the Cavalier River Parade kickoff. I went up afterwards and I asked him, "Hey, Bart, will you take can I get a picture of me giving this check to you?"
Right.
And he got all kind of like, "What for?" And I said, "Because in 2 years I'm gonna raise $1 million. And I just want to have a visual of it."
No, I remember that night. I was there.
Setting goals, Habakkuk 2:2, put your vision on the tablets. I photoshopped that check. I made it to the Rey Feo Scholarship Foundation and from the Diamond Jubilee team, and we looked at that. I looked at that picture every day for 2 years.
In your phone.
Yep.
In your phone.
Yep. I still have it
You
on my.
still have it.
Matter of fact, I'll find it while we're talking.
So you did that obviously, and
so I was that was the goal, right? And we talked about it when we sat down and we had interviews for, we're sitting at the court and we're going to raise $1 million was the goal all along. And after a while, Leslie said, "John, you've got to stop."
Your wife said this, yes.
Yeah, she's like, "You've got to stop talking about this because no one believes it." And I'm like, "Well, tell me who doesn't believe it, because we need to get them off the court." Because they agreed to it.
Yes.
Anyway, there's the picture of
2 years ago.
Yep.
This is, I guess, moments before the Cavalier River Parade.
It was before the parade started.
Right.
It was after the reception.
They have a reception and they do this. This is on that Monday before the Cavalier Parade, and I remember that day very vividly. So.
Well, if you also remember, we did last June, a year ago, we did a retreat at the Hotel Contessa to get everything kicked up and going. And I got a whiteboard up there, and I started drawing out how we were going to raise it. And people were. Long story short, we were blown away by what we thought we were going to get from Kim's Angels, and then instead of doing they like to surprise people, and sometimes they'll double it, and so when they folded it.
Right.
Well, that literally blew everybody away.
We were both, speechless there at the time.
Unbelievable.
But I think, and I'm on record as saying this publicly.
So when Yolanda called me, we were already done. We were already back. We were at lunch at Stoneworks.
Right.
And in the middle of lunch, I get up and I run out of the restaurant.
Yes.
And Leslie's like, "Oh my gosh,
What happened?
What happened?"
Something terrible.
And she's like, she cleans up the bill and comes out. I'm sitting on the curb crying.
Yeah.
And she's like, What happened? Who died?" I'm like, "No one died, but Kim's Angels just did this."
Yeah.
And so we cried together, and then
like I said, I remember being on the other end of that call as well, and I'm on record as saying publicly, I believe that there, in large part, that happened because of the chunk of money that will go to trade school scholarships. I know when we gave school visits and we gave talks and we would always mention the trade schools, that would easily get the greatest ovation.
Yes, and I think that's one of the biggest, if I'm, I don't want to say this, one of the greatest things that our team was able to accomplish was getting the Rey Feo Scholarship Foundation to open up to the 2-year associates.
Yeah.
And with the Alamo colleges, with the programs that they have right now, that's pretty solid for the high school seniors that are graduating.
Right.
But the trade schools are really going to be become as important or more important than the 4-year scholarships that we're currently doing.
Amen to that. So again, in August we'll reconvene and, like I said, put the uniform back on and give out those checks and everything. That'll be
Hope it still fits.
That's a whole other issue.
Yeah, I'm still eating like I was eating during Fiesta, but I'm not getting 24,000 steps a day in.
No kidding. Yeah, no kidding. So anyway, all right. So military-wise, we talked about, because it's Military Monday here on Pickup Lines. This is John McFadden, and I wrote in the text here. He's a Rey Feo. He's a business owner. He's a commercial airline pilot. He's a retired Air Force pilot, among many other things. But I was kind of reminiscing about your time. You told a story about how You grew up in the St. Louis area. You went to college, and then you ultimately your military career brought you here. And you talk about the story where you were sitting on the floor of the San Antonio International Airport in
June of '83.
'83, probably scared out of your mind.
Yep. And that's why every time I'm coming back from a trip and I see these kids all lined up and sitting on the floor, I always stop and talk to them.
When you walk out of the terminal, or walk into the terminal with your captain's uniform on and everything, with the airline,
with a different uniform than what they're
Correct.
about to get.
Correct.
And I sometimes I'll say something to the DI. Sometimes I'll just do it. I'm not sure if they really want me there or don't want me there, but I just tell them, as fast as I can.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, about 3 days from now, you're not going to be happy with your haircut. But I'm here to tell you.
There it is.
I'm here to tell you. 22 years, it grows back.
It's real. It's real.
The fastest 22 years of my life.
Yeah.
And I would do it all again. So just stick with it.
And wasn't it, correct me if I'm wrong, days before you were sitting on the ground at San Antonio International Airport? Oh, by the way, you got married.
Yeah, so I got graduated from college on May the 15th, got married May the 28th, and then we left for, I left St. Louis for Lackland on, I think, like June 16th.
God bless. And 40 plus years later, you guys are still together. And is it true you proposed to Leslie the same night you met her?
I met her at 8:05 p.m. on February the 21st, 1982, and by 11 o'clock that night, I asked her to marry me.
And she said,
No!
No!
Well, she was engaged to somebody else.
Oh, there's that. Okay.
Yeah. Details.
It's complicated.
Details. But, people ask me how I did it. I said, it's easy. I wasn't Maverick. I wasn't Rooster. I wasn't Goose. I wasn't Iceman. My tactical was Booger.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Have you ever had that booger that it's on your index finger
Right.
and you think
Just
it's
won't
gone?
go away.
And now it's on your thumb, and then you think you scraped it under
Right.
your seat, but it's
Right.
on your index finger. Or
Okay.
Well, every time she turned around, I was there, man. I was stuck to her like a booger.
It's better than rash.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, finally she's just like, okay, leave me alone.
Exactly.
Yes.
Fine. It's just easier to say yes.
It's easier to say yes.
And the rest is history.
Yeah. So it's been amazing. It's between the Air Force and I was 9/11 happened. I got furloughed from the airlines, and basically United was in bankruptcy. Wasn't sure where that was going to go. That's when we started our first real business.
The wine business.
A wine business, and she's along for the ride. She's the being married to an entrepreneur.
But
is
you
not
told a
easy.
story about how you had a Home Depot credit card with like $8,000 on it or something, and I don't know if you maxed it out, but we maxed it out. You used that sucker, and you started your wine business. I mean, here in town.
Right, water to wine, and then the first one did really well, so we opened up our second one in Austin. It fixed what was needed to be fixed.
Right.
That Austin became our franchise training center, and then we opened up multiple locations in multiple states over the following couple of years.
But then you ultimately sold it.
Sold the whole thing.
And I'm sure you did pretty well. And then you used that to ultimately go on to the next business, which was it the lab?
I sold it and just kind of held on to it. Went back to school and got my master's in counseling, and I got my LPC, and just was doing church work when an opportunity came along to open up a toxicology laboratory, a CLIA high complexity laboratory, and went into that business with my son in love.
Yes.
And so now we've been doing that for over 10 years, and it's great to be in business with family.
Gotten to know Stan, and obviously he was around. The whole family was around during the whole Rey Feo experience. But what I remember about the lab 2 years ago, as I was getting to know you, we were on the court together. Coming out of COVID, you would offer us, we would have rapid COVID tests and everything. But what I remember is during the pandemic, your company did a lot of the testing for some of these high-profile award shows in Hollywood.
Yes.
Which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, so we had the contract for United Airlines and Delta and Air Canada worldwide for like employees and for passengers. And so we set up a computer infrastructure to allow us to interact with their reservation systems that would actually shut down their ability to get a boarding pass if they tested positive.
Oh, wow.
And so we took that and bid on the Oscars, the Academy Awards. And because they were California was hard shut down.
Oh, this is 2020, right?
Yes.
2020.
And
right. No, I remember.
they were hard shut down. And so we actually put together a proposal to where we tested every single person working on the set, every performer, every presenter, and every nominee. And the badge that they used to swipe into the security that
Right.
actually let the door open for them to come in, if they tested positive for COVID, it shut down their badge and they weren't allowed on anywhere near the set.
So I don't expect you to violate any HIPAA laws or drop names or anything, but is it safe to say like you were in very close proximity to the Oscar nominees and the winners and the presenters and all those kinds of things?
Every single one of them.
Were you starstruck by anybody?
I was not, I wouldn't say starstruck, but it is pretty interesting when you're sticking, Q-tips up people's noses that you've seen on TV. And it's not, I'll say right off the, unapologetically, I don't think I'm violating anything. Renee Zellweger was Leslie in my favorites. She was stuck on top of this mountain in her house. I don't think she had seen another human being in months. Man, she had her Texas hat on, because she's from Austin.
Sure, yeah.
And she was just a talk, and I'm like, and she's nice as could be, as nice as she could be. But and they tell us, don't chit chat. You got to get in and get out. A professional booger picker, right? There's my booger again.
Yes, booger.
Hey, Renee, I just ate a couple of your boogers, and then we got to go. And she's just so pleasant and so beautiful to be with. And but I'm like, Renee, sorry, but we gotta go. Hallie's waiting for us. So
Halle Berry.
we got more boogers to collect.
Oh my gosh, how wild is that?
It was pretty wild.
I just go back and I think about that time, those visuals and everything, and then we had the June Fiesta in 2021, which was hotter than.
Yeah. My wife was the person that took the military ambassadors everywhere.
Right.
And that was a brutal fiesta heat wise.
Yeah, and then we came in 2022 with Augie and had like the quickest turnaround because it started in March 31st of that year.
And we got done at the middle or end of June. So
right.
It was a fast turn.
Yeah, it was a very quick turnaround. And I remember the first event we tried to do in 2022 was canceled because of COVID numbers and everything. But
right. Indoor parade.
It worked out. So, all right.
Augie had a great reign.
Oh, it was amazing. And talking about text threads, we still have a text thread with the Rey Feo 73 court. We do. It's just great people.
You really just you become like family with the court members because you spend so much time together. And if you saw on the thread today, the only thing that if I could have anything for my birthday, it would be another day on the bus.
One more day on the bus. That was a lot of fun.
It was phenomenal.
And John Alonzo, our photographer, is saying that he was hoping that Rowdy, Nikki was our bus driver, and her dog Rowdy was with us.
They would have to be there
but Rowdy's not here.
Rowdy, you there?
No. All right. A few more minutes with John McFadden because he's got birthday stuff to do. He's got more important things to do than this, I think.
More important than hang out with Ernie Zuniga?
I don't know. I don't know.
So now, how do you know John Alonzo said that? Can you actually read that?
It says right there. He says, here's hoping that there's a surprise visit from Rowdy today.
Right below it should say, here's hoping that Rey Feo 75 gets some sort of eye surgery so he can read whatever that says.
No, well, listen, I'm assuming that's what it says. That's what it looks like. You've been very open about your faith, and as much as you could during the reign, especially when we would go to the private schools, you were very open about it. You talked about on your crown how you have Matthew 5:16 in Morse code around the rim of your crown and everything. And as if you hadn't already done enough in 2024, you are in the process of getting your doctorate.
Well, I finished all the coursework actually before the start of the reign, and the only thing I have left to do is finish my dissertation, and I'll have the PhD in counseling wrapped up.
So like the big paper essentially. Like what does that mean? Like a
Yes,
dissertation.
yeah, it's a big paper. So it's easy. Right now the plan is to finish it up. The effect of machismo and meridianismo on the disclosure of childhood sexual abuse in the Hispanic culture. So say that 3 times fast.
I'll leave it to you. But so you'll be Dr. John McFadden.
Well,
Colonel, retired. Hey, by the way,
I plan on changing my name to Phil. Because I figure I'll get better reservations for dinner if I call in and say this is Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil, there you go.
That's my plan.
McGraw, no, McFadden. Dr. Phil McFadden.
Or Drew. I could be Drew.
Dr. Drew, the other, yes,
Yeah.
another famous TV doctor. One thing I got to say, speaking of the military and Rey Feo and everything, the very first time, I don't know, months ago or whenever, that I heard that in 75 years, you were the very first retired active duty member of any branch of the military to be. I was really surprised when I heard that. Did that surprise you when you found that out?
Not really, because if you think about it, a lot of active duty, they come and they go, and if you look at the history of Rey Feo, it's usually a local businessman and in competition with another local businessman. Right. And obviously we've had a retired Coast Guard Reserve, Rey Feo, which kind of semi makes sense that because a reservist typically stays in one spot.
Right.
But, I think it just was just waiting for the right set of circumstances for a retired military guy who would set up a business and could, and then you got to get somebody who's signs up for all this crazy stuff too. I mean, short of roofing somebody, you're not going to get, because if you don't have a heart for the kids,
yeah,
if you don't
screaming kids,
well, plus the kids a heart for getting into these communities and seeing, as one of the things I do with counseling is hope is such a big deal for a person's outlook, their demeanor, their attitude, their success in life, and the ability to give hope to these high school seniors that are one textbook away from not making it or don't think that they can.
And that's not a stretch, by the way. We've heard these stories.
Oh.
Like they were literally a book or two away from not.
The number of people that came up to me, I was on a TV set, and the not the key grip, but the person
Production assistant or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, going around making sure everybody's in the right place at the right time, walked up, she's like, hey, I just want to know, thank you, because I really, without the scholarship that Rey Feo, I would have not made it. Yeah. The guy at the Hotel Contessa, the catering manager came up to me. It's kind of funny. It's almost like they're like, hey, guess what? Yeah. But he's like, I'm a recipient. I mean, wow. I literally over the course of the year, I had over 50 people come up to me and tell me that they were recipients, and it really, for me, that's what it's all about. Is a helping hand up, not a handout. They're not looking for handouts. Right. Feed a person for a day or feed them for life. Yeah. And I look at everything that we've done as feeding them for life.
I love those stories because one thing that I've always wanted to see is you might not see the money that was raised this year and the scholarships that will be given out in August. It might be years or decades before you see the full impact of what your actions or our actions now will have.
Made a difference in that starfish's life.
Right, exactly. There's so many great stories. So we'll wind down here with a couple more things. I'm guessing if you had to do it all over again, you would do it. But I wonder if you would have done anything differently if you had to do it all over again.
I would do it all over again in a heartbeat, and I would do a couple of things differently, but none that I'm willing to discuss.
Fair enough.
Just because it's more of what I would do differently.
I see.
It's not. I sure wouldn't change the team we put together.
Great team.
There's not a single person on the team that I would change for anybody on on the planet.
What I do tell people, though, is I don't know that the wives, the consorts, get enough credit because, and the family members for that matter, too. The toll that it takes and the sacrifices that must be made for the wife and the kids or the immediate family, because I've seen it several times now, is to me, just cannot be understated.
The amount of work that Leslie put in to make this successful is unbelievable. All of our friends and our family know that this has been a full-time, 12-hour a day, 7-day a week job for the last 6-7 months, and a palsy 40-50 hour a week job for the last 2 years, and that's on my part and on her part as well. I mean, she's been knocking out, since we got back, she's been knocking out 20, 25, 30 thank you notes a day.
Right. Because I was, and on that note, because I was thinking, what do you get King John for his birthday? Because I just spent the last, 2 weeks and the better part of a year watching you receive gifts from amazing people wherever you would go. And many of these gifts are gigantic wall hangings, paintings, framed, Yetis.
Yeah, I will have logoed Yetis for life.
You will. So I was thinking. So yes, I'll drink that. So I was thinking. Well, what do you get? What do you get? Someone who seemingly has it all.
I thought you were driving me through Whataburger.
Well, we can go after that. But so I came up with a couple of things. Because as I paid attention in the bus over the weeks and months, I was like, and I'm not going to lie. I asked your daughter this morning. I said, what does he like? What does he want sweets for his lunch? And I was like, I don't remember him eating a lot of sweets during Fiesta. The one thing that you always had was Diet Coke.
I'm not sure is that true?
Well, I mean, it's from
okay.
Where I was sitting. So there's your refill.
This is my bottle, my cup of coffee for tomorrow.
Cup of coffee. All right. And so the last thing I was thinking, well, I'm not going to get him anything too big because I don't know how much wall space you have. You have a lot of things. But I thought, you know what? Matthew 5:16 was your Bible verse of choice. And I'm terrible. I didn't even take the price tag off this thing. This is Matthew 5:14. I had to look it up because you talked about 5:16 so much. But essentially, and you can recite the verse better than I can, but it just talks about, being the light, and like a diamond, you shine bright like a diamond.
So 14 talks about being the light, and then the follow on to that, Matthew 5:16 is, and let your light so shine amongst men that they see your good deeds and they glorify your Father in heaven.
Okay. So I thought, well, maybe he can hang this in the airliner or something, or in the plane. It's not too big. So it won't take up. And then the last one, I saw this and I thought, how many times did you ask the kiddos if they knew Philippians 4:13?
That's right.
And I think this is pretty self-explanatory, but
yeah, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So if the three characteristics of the diamond are value, made in the image of God, strong, I can do all things. That's pretty strong. And let your light shine, Matthew 5:16. And you can shine like a diamond. You've got the value of a diamond. You can be strong like a diamond. Those are beautiful gifts. I wish the gift I had for you was better thought out.
Stop.
But you talked to Libby this morning.
I did.
Did she tell you about the gift that I bought for you that I let her borrow for a wedding rehearsal dinner that she did on Friday night?
No.
And that the guests stole?
No.
I had to go by the Fiesta store to get their piñata and all their. They did a Fiesta themed rehearsal dinner, and lo and behold, right there in the middle of the store was this great big sombrero.
Oh!
And you'll be happy to know that some unnamed groom is out there running around San Antonio with your sombrero on right now.
There you have it.
So,
all right.
But she's vowed to replace it for me.
Well, I know you guys are good for it, and but that's amazing because we both are products of private school education once upon a time, and so I know faith was a big deal, and I know got you through a lot of craziness early in life, and in particular in the last 18 months.
Yeah. Well, and for those that don't know. Anytime we walked into a school visit and Ernie saw a kid with a sombrero on, he just migrated straight to that kid and took the hat and wore it not just a little bit for the whole presentation, and
Yeah.
then the kid got the hat back with one of your personal
I give him
medals.
a medal. Yeah. That's the least I can do. So, well, listen. We could go on and on and on, and but I want to get you back to your wife and your birthday.
Whataburger's
celebration.
calling.
Oh, well, we'll find one nearby. It's the number one on me. But listen, I'm super
thank you.
thrilled and proud of you. You already know
Love
that.
you.
Love you to death, and all the McFaddens. And I can't brag enough about what you and the team has done. And again, I cannot wait till August when you're handing out those checks. That's going to be pretty powerful. I think.
Yeah, I'm excited about what the next 3 or 4 and on down the road Rey Feos do, because I think the 4-minute mile's been broken, and
Bar has been raised. That's for sure.
We are all in to help these guys keep this pace going.
So Fabian's on deck, Rey Feo 76, and as he said, a Wednesday night you'll be out there.
Yep. I'll be out there supporting him,
doing it,
raising money.
Very good. Good to see
Ernie
you.
Zuniga,
Happy birthday!
The most amazing, authentic, kindest man I know. I love you.
I love it.
And God bless you.
Likewise. All right, there you have it. Another episode of Pickup Lines presented by Gamez Law Firm, Integrity Roofing and Siding. We'll be back here again very, very soon for another Military Monday or any other day of the week. So
That's all, folks.
that's all, folks. Bye for now.